Conroe. This is Mike McBride. I'm a program assistant with the Family Community Health of Texas A&M AgriLife, and you are listening to the Extension Hour. Glad you could join us. In a few minutes, we'll be talking with some fine folks from the Volunteers of America, let you know a little bit of what they do here in town, the good works that they're doing. But I'd also like to let you know about a couple of programs that AgriLife is coming up with. On July 14th, our Master Gardeners are having 2 classes. We have Water for Lawns and Plants for beginners. That is 8 till 10. Then we have Water for Lawns and Plants for the experienced people. And that is the 10:30 to 12:30 time. If you want to take one class, it's $5. If you want to take both classes, it's $8. You can look up information at www.mcmga, that's Montgomery County Master Gardener Association, so mcmga.com, or call us at 936-539-7824. We also have a couple programs coming up in my area. We have a Walk Across Texas Prize Patrol. For those who don't know what Walk Across Texas is, we just finished a statewide push, but we can do it any time of the year that we want. We try to get teams of 8 people to commit to walking for 8 weeks. And the goal is to have your team walk 834 miles altogether, not by yourself. And that's basically the distance from Orange, Texas to El Paso. So you're walking across Texas. We do with different businesses around town, different agencies, schools. It's just a way to help you get fit again. We also have 2 programs called Tackling the Snack Attack. No one in here has ever been hungry and ate the wrong thing. Like, I sit down and have 1 potato chip, no, the bag is gone. 1 Oreo, no, the box is gone along with a gallon of milk. So Tackling the Snack Attack will be at the Purvis Library up in Willis on June 18th, and at the Toldus Library over in New Caney on June 21st. We can also teach that class at other times and places if you invite us. And that same phone number that I had a moment ago, 936-539-7824. But ask for Amy, Jenny, McBride. That's me. We've got a couple mics in there, so it gets confusing. And we'd be happy to talk with you about getting something scheduled. Those are at libraries. I also want to remind you the libraries have their summer reading program going on. So if you have kiddos, this is a great opportunity to get them to read some books and hopefully fall in love with reading. Lastly, the last thing I want to announce is we have a car seat check on June 21st at our office at 9020 Airport here in Conroe. It's right across the street from the Lone Star Center. And what we do is we check infant seats, make sure they're installed correctly, make sure it's the right seat for that child. We just want your kids to be as safe as possible. It is by appointment only, so please give us a call at 936-539-7824. We'd love to help you out with your car seats. We've done it before in the past, and it's amazing. What you think is a very simple job really is not. When I did my training, we spent a whole day talking about seat belts. Can you imagine 8 hours on seat belts? But we actually learned an awful lot. So let's get down to the meat and potatoes of why we're here today. I'm sitting here with 3 fine folks from Volunteers of America. I will let them introduce themselves individually in a moment, but we have Morris Cole, who I believe you're the director. Is that the correct title? Perfect. He's shaking his head at me. We have Linda Sullivan and Arisha Reese, are both of different programs, and we'll get to know them just a little bit also. But Morris, if you would, in real broad terms, do 2 things for me. First, tell us a little bit about who you are and what brought you to Conroe. And second, what is Volunteers of America as a whole?
Sure, I'll be happy to do that. My name is Morris Cole.
No.
I am I head up the housing department for Conroe, and basically, Volunteers of America is a faith-based nonprofit organization dedicated to helping the vulnerable reach their full potential. We have a host of programs that we specialize in, from substance abuse treatment to reentry, disability services, prevention, veteran services, and job training. Also, we have our FOC program as well, but I'll let Ms. Reese speak on that. And that's, in a nutshell, that is what we're about on here in Conroe, Texas.
Okay. How did you get involved with VOA?
I got involved in VOA. A friend of mine told me about Volunteers of America. At first, it was funny. I thought it was an opportunity for me to go do some volunteer work.
Hmm.
I did not know that they were around for over 100 years, and all the things, the wonderful things they were doing out here in our community for Houstonians, and how far-reaching uh, Volunteers of America. They're all over our states, particularly in Texas. They're doing a lot of great work, and I was so excited about hearing about working for Volunteers of America. I filled out the application and spoke to a couple of people, and here I am today.
Very cool. Yeah, and I was at your office once or twice now. It seems like uh, fairly nice facility. You guys have just moved in there, haven't you?
Yes, yes, the facility's been around for about 1 or 2 years,
Okay.
and it's nestled in that little shopping mall. And a lot of people, if if they go too fast, they might miss us. But we're nestled right there, and a lot of people hear about us and they know of us and they know exactly where to go because the landmark is the dollar store.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, for those who are curious, the office is really pretty close to the intersection of 105 and 45. So if you know where the dollar store is there, you know where to find the VOA folks. Um, who do you serve? You said the vulnerable folks of the area. Who are your clients, and how do you find them, or how do they find you?
Well, the wonderful thing about our particular program in terms of specifically housing, we work with the Coalition for the Homeless.
Mhm.
They're based out in Houston, but they're far-reaching, and they actually assess. Each person is assessed through the coalition, uh, and then they're referred to Volunteers of America, sort of a pre-screening, if I may. And once they have once they go through the coalition, they are referred to us. Some of the prerequisites are that they have to be 12 months homeless, and for the during the past 3 years, I'm sorry, they have to provide documentation in terms of their disability, and also their homelessness. Once those documents are secure, they're referred through the Homeless Coalition through Miss Nancy Hines, and we navigate them through the process of getting housed. For There's permanent housing from 1 to 3 years. We provide all the rent. We pay for the rent. We pay for the application fee. We pay for the necessary paperwork, things to get them started. And we have a lot of community partners that help us in those efforts right here in Conroe, to make sure that the transition is smooth in terms of the things that they may need in reference to first getting into a home. Because I mean, let's face it, when you're dealing with the homeless community, a lot of them, they've lost a lot. Only thing
Right.
they have is what they have on their backs. So Volunteers of America and the people of Conroe come together. These agencies come together and they say, "Hey, we want to help. We want to provide a component of getting transitioning these citizens into a home." So, in a nutshell.
Right. And from my own experience working with the homeless in other venues, um, you're talking about getting the documentation together. Sometimes that's a huge hurdle.
Yeah,
What
absolutely.
you and I take for granted, like we have a driver's license, had it since I was 16. I think they're still carving them in stone when I got my first one, but we take that for granted. I've got my passports; they're in a little lockbox at home. But if you lived under a bridge during Harvey, a driver's license or a state ID was probably quite a luxury. Yeah, so
Absolutely.
I guess you have folks who know how to go about do these things and how to get the documentation or system.
Yeah, and that's one of the great things about networking with the community
Right.
and different agencies. We all work together through the Coalition for the Homeless to make sure we have all those documentations within a software system whereby we can look into that software system and be able to find A, services, B, information, whether on that person, family members. We can find all that information right within that particular software, along with hard copies
Okay.
that we can either A, print off, or the individual themselves can retrieve through either going to Conroe PD, getting their ID, going to the Social Security system. All the stuff is navigated through a case manager or through the assessor to help the individual transition into our program
Okay.
as smoothly as possible.
Yeah, and correct me if I'm wrong, but the coalition basically acts as a clearinghouse, not just for your program, for several.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
All the host programs that are in Houston that fall under the coalition, they are the hub,
Right,
for all these different programs.
So if I were a homeless person, I started working with the coalition and I put my paperwork in their system, you can access it, but then I don't have to go find that same paperwork for the next organization and the one after. They can all access it because it's one database that you're sharing.
Yeah, it's one database that we're sharing. Mind you, some of the sensitive information, such as Social Security, it may be found in there, and sometimes it's not. It depends on how aggressive the other agencies sought to find this information or to obtain Social Security ID and things of that nature, the sensitive stuff, documentation from their doctor, documentation from SSI or Tri-County. Once all that stuff is obtained, it makes, and it's in a database, it makes the transition smoother.
Kind of seamless then.
Yes.
That probably helps you two ladies too with your program if you can access that material. And
well, I don't have access to that, but having my great counterparts in the office with me, if I need to get the information, it's easy access.
Okay. Yeah. So you work with a coalition. Do you also have individual agencies or different churches that come to you alongside you?
Yes. One of the is right down the street, our Crisis Assistance Center. They're very
good people.
They are Miss Jennifer and those guys over there. They're doing some wonderful work, and we work together to help the citizens of Conroe get either drug information, clothing. We all work together to help that individual transition as seamlessly as possible.
Yeah, it's amazing that our paths hadn't crossed before. The different organizations you're mentioning, I also worked with, teaching different classes. In today's economy, it's so hard to fund different programs that I can't do one program and you do the exact same thing and duplicate services. We need to be mindful of the resources we have. And I think that's what Nancy Hines with Coalition is doing.
Yes.
Saying, okay, here's what you need. Here's who does it. So we don't have 5 people doing the same thing. We have 1 or 2 doing it really, really
absolutely,
well.
Absolutely. So there won't be such a duplication.
Okay. Well, that kind of brings us to our first break. What I'd like to do is come back in a couple of minutes and talk to Linda and Arista. But you're listening to iStar Lone Star Radio here in Conroe. You can listen to us online at irlonestar.com or online, on your radio 104.5 or 106.1 FM.
Family and community health programs provide science-based education designed to improve the overall health and wellness of individuals, families, and communities. Developed by experts and delivered locally, topics include child and adult health, nutrition, child care, financial management, passenger and community safety, and building strong families, all encouraging lifelong health and well-being for every person, every family, and every community. We are Texas A&M AgriLife Extension, helping Texans make their lives better.
Lone Star Community Radio is looking for those who are interested in hosting their own talk show with monthly and weekly slots available in Conroe's FM 104.5, 106.1, and on irlonestar.com. Start your own podcast, create your first YouTube channel, and be on TV. Contact Lone Star Community Radio online at irlonestar.com or call the station message line at 936-647-3776 to take your first step into the radio world.
Hispanic Chamber Connections with Dr. Carlos Sanchez, president of the Woodlands Conroe Hispanic Chamber of Commerce, featuring event announcements, member highlights, and more. Tuesdays at 1 p.m., broadcasting from the heart of Conroe, Texas on irlonestar.com and Conroe's FM 104.5, 106.1.
Hello, and welcome back to the Extension Hour. My name is Mike McBride, and I'm a program assistant with the Texas A&M AgriLife Family and Community Health Area. With me today are some folks from the Volunteers of America. We've been chatting with Morris for a little bit. What I'd like to do is introduce his 2 coworkers. one of y'all want to jump in, or I can point fingers at you?
My name is Linda Sullivan. I'm with the Homeless Veteran Reintegration Program. What we do is we service homeless veterans or those that are at risk of becoming homeless, and we help them with employment and any other services that they may need, such as linkage to benefits that they qualify for as veterans, reconnecting them back sometimes with the VA, because as we have found that a lot of veterans who were, let's say the Vietnam era vets, don't want to have anything to do with the VA and are not aware of a lot of the benefits that are out there, not just through the VA, but through other community programs such as ours, which has been in existence now here in Conroe for about a year, but has been in existence in Houston for quite some time.
Okay. I'm going to listen a little bit more about that in just a second. So first off, I applaud you. The vets are such a huge, important part of my own personal life. I'm glad when somebody can reach out and help them. A lot of times they're too, I don't know if I say stubborn or proud to reach out for help. They were taught to do things on their own, and that's what they're still trying to do. But I'm glad there's people who can help them out. And our other visitor today is?
My name is Aracia Reese. I am a financial coach at the Financial Opportunities Center here in Montgomery County. I'm here to offer a bundle of financial services for low to middle class populations that might need help. So my job is to help them become more financially stable all the way around.
Excellent. And I think that's Morris pulled me in. I will eventually be helping to teach some classes on credit repair and budgeting. Again, things that we might take for granted, but I'm finding that there's a lot of people who may not be in your program who also just down in the community, they don't know how to balance a checkbook or how to look for these things. So again, the skills that we might take for granted, they need a little assistance with.
Right.
And I know there's a couple of partners that you've worked with that I work with in other areas too. So it's really the community coming together. Okay. Well, let's start with Linda. You're working with the vets, and Texas has our fair share of vets here, don't we?
I believe Texas is the biggest state with the most veterans that are being released. They discharge, and they, for some reason, head to Texas, or I don't know if it's just because Texas is so patriotic that a lot of our boys have enlisted. Yeah,
I've got several personal friends who've retired in the San Antonio area because they have so many bases there, hospitals. A friend of mine is a social service worker. So that we have a lot of benefits, but that's a 3-hour drive away. So how do you help the folks here in town with some of their needs?
Well, first and foremost, our main concern with our program, we are funded through the Department of Labor, and it is for veterans who are homeless. As you know, homelessness has become a big issue in the veteran community. A lot of it is because of mental health, things that happen when they came out of war, when they came out of the military due to the war, deployments and what have you. And so what we do is we'll work with a veteran who will come into our office. They're either referred or they hear word of mouth, because it does get out, especially in the homeless community that we exist. So what we do is we help the veteran. A lot of times we have to start from point one, which is getting their DD-214 and requesting that from the archives. We help them with that. And once we help them with getting their DD-214, they can prove that they were actually a veteran in good standing, because our program assists only those that were honorable, other than in general, but not dishonorable discharges. We cannot work with anyone with that type of discharge. But what we do is, like I said, we help them from the very beginning with even their resume. We provide job readiness training. We provide also job development. We help them with employment services. I work with a lot of employers, and I will personally talk to them, pick up the phone and say, hey, I have this veteran. He has this job skills. I think he'd be great. Can you give him an opportunity? And we work with the veteran also to show them how to fill out an application, how to also interview well, because you find sometimes that they don't know how to interview And we even go as far as how to dress for an interview. We pay for training if they need certifications. There are scholarships that we have to also get them retrained. We tell them about the benefits that they, as military veterans, have actually earned and can access. And then we will provide them information how to get with the proper channels to help them get the benefits, as well as other agencies that we work with, such as Goodwill. They have a program here that is for veterans as well. And we work together to help the vet get a job, even housing, whatever it is and whatever it takes to get this veteran off the streets and into self-sufficiency.
And you mentioned the DD-214. For those who don't know, that is a document that every vet receives. It shows their dates of service, their rank, I believe, and then what type of discharge they had.
Right.
And just like I mentioned with the ID earlier, nothing starts in the veteran world without the DD-214.
That is the main thing that we need, aside from a driver's license and Social Security as well.
Okay, so let's say you have a vet walk into your office today, has been living homeless for some time. How long does it take to get like the DD-214 and the ID and everything else that they need?
The DD-214 can actually take a minute to get, because a lot of them, especially those that served a long time ago, there was a big fire in the military archives. So that sometimes takes a minute. It can take up to 6 weeks. Wow. But we found that if they were Harvey affected, that if we write Harvey affected on the information that we're requesting on the form, they will send it immediately, sometimes as short as 3 days or even 2 weeks. It depends. It's the luck of the draw, to be quite honest.
Okay. Working at the speed of government.
Exactly. There. I didn't want to say it, but you said it.
Well, I'm a government employee, so I'll put my foot into it if I have to.
Right.
Okay, so what are the biggest needs in your area?
The biggest need that I've seen with the homeless veterans, of course, is housing. Conroe, Montgomery County, there's limited housing that's affordable for a veteran. There aren't enough government programs that can assist. Shall I say, we will be getting the HUD-VASH vouchers now, but okay. Harris County has always had HUD-VASH now for quite some time to guarantee them a place to stay. And then, of course, with any HUD, it is income eligible. But that's one of the things that I find the most distressing for me, is trying to find them housing, because yes, they need to work. It's very important that they work because it'll help them get out of homelessness. But at the same time, if they don't have a place to shower, change, or what have you, it's very difficult for them to go to a job or to be worried about, getting a job when they're trying to get out of the streets. And we have some veterans who are right now in housing, but they're about to lose their home. They're facing eviction. We take them as well and we help them. But, what do you tell a veteran when he doesn't have a place to stay anymore and he's been evicted and he's looking at his family and he knows he has to work? So they go through a lot of stress. And what we try to do is we refer them over to Tri-County, of course, as well, to the VA, so they can get some counseling, because it's very stressful for them. But the veteran that is homeless and is eligible for a program faces a multitude of barriers.
Right. From
not just being homeless, some are addicted because of injuries, and now they are on pain medication, and the pain medication may be not working anymore, so they moved on to stronger things. So it is a lot that we see with veterans. So when we work with a veteran, we work with them from the beginning till the end, and we make sure that pretty much it's not just, like I said, it's not just the homelessness and employment, but as far as food, health, every aspect.
Yeah. And I know from my own background, I'm a mental health therapist, drug and alcohol counselor. And I know that there's a lot of these vets with substance abuse issues, but they don't all have that. they don't all have PTSD, but if you have those problems, it does make it very, very hard. Just if you're PTSD, just the idea of going out for job interviews, debilitating.
Very much so. So what I find that helps, and I've done it many times, is I will go to the job interview with them.
Nice.
I will drive them. I will sit out in the car, and I'll be there as their moral support. I also pick up the phone, call them if I know they have an interview that we've set up or they've set up on their own. I will call them and remind them, hey, remember, don't do this, don't say that. Look them in the eye. Yeah. Everything that, to reassure them and make them feel a little bit more confident. We are there to help them. We also help them with transportation so they can get to and from those job interviews.
It's huge. Yeah. And I've done a whole lot of things in my life, but I was also with the Department of Labor in Alaska, and that the coaching, people act surprised, like, you mean I can't wear a T-shirt to a bank teller interview? It's like, no. And so just that coaching
it's very important. Yeah. I had a female veteran who had served in the military for over 17 years, and she was applying for a job, and she says, oh, I know exactly what I'm going to wear. And I said, oh, tell me. And she described her outfit, and I said, can you bring it? And I can look at it. And she's like, okay, I'll bring it. She did. It was not interview appropriate, shall I say. So we worked together, and we put an outfit, up for her. And we also went to Angelic Resale, and we looked around, and we found some very, very cheap clothing that we were able to get. And that's exactly what she wore for the interview. And she's now working at a store as an assistant manager.
Yeah. And kind of a side note here, I just want the listeners to hear all the different agencies that you just mentioned. Angelic Resale.
Angelic.
You mentioned Tri-County earlier. Yeah. It's like this really is a county area-based program. You have to access all these things for somebody to be successful.
Exactly. We can't do it alone, and we recognize that. So that's why we work with all the agencies. We outreach, we network, and everyone has one goal, and that is to help the individual that's in need. And I have found that with all other agencies here in Montgomery County, if we all just partner up together and not to duplicate services, but if you can provide a service that I don't have, hey, I'm going to call you. I'm going to reach out to you and say, I have this person. This is the need they have. And everyone has been very responsive.
Right. Okay. What are the biggest needs in your area? You mentioned housing.
Housing is.
Yeah. How do you find housing? I mean, how do you find it, like a new apartment building that you can access, or what do you do?
I'm going to pass that on to the housing expert, Mr. Morris Cole.
Well, we can definitely help in those particular areas. And what happens is, a person like myself, I would go out to different apartment managers, different property groups, and speak with those property groups in reference to housing, in reference to placement. So it would be a commitment and a relationship that I develop with property groups and property owners, property managers, to get individuals housed.
A lot of networking.
It's a lot of networking. It's a lot of trust that goes into all that. So, and
I would probably guess that you're under a lot of competition with Conroe. What I was told is we're the fastest growing city of this size in the nation. Absolutely. So that puts a lot of demand on housing, not just for your programs, but just for people moving in.
Absolutely.
Okay. So I'm getting the high sign that it's about time to take a break. So we'll come back and harass Mr. Risha in just a second. You are listening to Lone Star Radio, Lone Star Community Radio here in Conroe. You can listen to us at 104.5 or 106.1 on your FM dial, or worldwide at irlonestar.com. Talk to you all in a minute.
You're going to need me.
You're going to need us.
All of us.
You're going to need our help with your water, your air, your food.
You're going to need our determination, our compassion.
You're going to need the next generation of leaders to face the challenges the future will bring.
And we promise we'll be there when you need us.
Today, 4-H is growing the next generation of leaders.
A Lone Star Community Radio is ready for the summer. If you or anyone you know is looking for summer internship opportunities, a Lone Star Community Radio is a great place to grab the mic and be on the air. A Lone Star Community Radio offers a great opportunity to those interested in learning about the radio world all year round. Be an on-air personality, talk show producer, or YouTube, TV, podcast editor. Contact the station at info@irlonestar.com or call the station's message line at 936-647-3776.
Have a legal question? Are you a resident of Montgomery County? Call 281-645-6344 to talk to a volunteer attorney from the Woodlands Bar Association. We answer the phones on the first Monday of every month at 281-645-6344 from 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. to provide general legal information and information about legal resources to Montgomery County residents.
For those of you who like your partners, your gumbo, and your music salty, well, we're here to help with the music. Julie and Shay here, host of Lone Star Country Nights Thursday, your weekly dose of roots and Americana and all the music that makes this part of the country special. We stir in Western swing, honky-tonk, Zydeco, Texas blues, outlaw country, and put a pinch of red dirt, and then we smoke it over a slow fire. Then listen to the results Thursday nights on Conroe's 104.5 and 106.1 and worldwide at irlonestar.com.
Hello and welcome back to the Extension Hour. I'm Mike McBride. I'm a program assistant with the Family and Community Health with Texas A&M AgriLife. That's a long title, different ways of saying it. I'm sitting here just having a good chat with the Volunteer of America group here in Conroe. We talked with Morris a little bit earlier about the big picture of VOA.
Yes.
And Linda Sullivan has been telling us about the VA program. And now we're going to harass the next person, Arisha Reese. She says she's nervous, but she's sitting here with the biggest smile on her face. So we're going to...
I smile when I'm nervous.
Okay, so what do you do for VOA?
Well, I'm the financial coach at the Financial Opportunity Center here in Montgomery County. And what the Financial Opportunity Center offers is a bundle of services that kind of focuses on individuals' financial stability. So when I say a bundle, it's from employment coaching, income support coaching, and financial coaching. And what is this kind of, we integrate the services to the individual. So whatever that individual might be lacking financially, we focus on that. And we have to bring their services together to help promote that longevity financial stability for the individual.
Yeah. So I'm guessing it's not a one size fits all.
It is not. Definitely not one size fits all.
That would be too easy or almost boring, I think. Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay, so what are some of the things that people need help with?
It could be anything from revamping the resume, even starting a resume. It could be from, like Miss Sullivan mentioned before, practicing for an interview. It could be from going about getting public assistance or, and seeing if they even qualify for public assistance.
Okay. So Ms. Sullivan works with the vets and you work with everyone else then?
Yes.
Okay. So we got the whole meal right here, the meal deal.
Yeah.
Okay. And I'm guessing the people come to you like after how do I want to put it? They hear about VOA, they walk in the front door. Mm-hmm. Is there somebody who does an assessment to say, okay, you need to talk with this group or that group? Or
I do the assessment.
Okay.
So a client may come in, whether it's referred to or like the outreach or networking. Mm-hmm. They come in, we're doing the assessment. If they say, Ms. Reese, financially, I want to become a little bit better with my finances, right. Or somebody may come in, they say, well, I don't even know where to start. They come in, we're doing an assessment, and the assessment kind of looks at all angles of their income. Do they have income coming in? The income they do have coming, what can we do with that?
Right.
If they're interested, another service that we provide is vocational training. So if you need that training to better, put yourself in a better situation financially, then we can offer it. We have some vocational training that we offer as well.
Yeah, I'm going to guess that you're working with Nancy and her Lone Star Community College connection with the cooking program?
No, sir. We're doing right now PCT, and we offer CNA vocational training through Lone Star.
Nice.
Yes.
And we just recently had a reason to get a CNA in our house, and we need more. They are hard to find.
Yes, and it's a good program to come through us because we pay for everything from beginning to end. Where the client comes in, needs shots to even start the program. We pay for the uniforms. We pay for gas every week. And I'm there just to coach you from beginning to end.
Okay. Pardon me. What does the average week look like for one of your clients?
The average week for one of my clients, they'll come in, they'll do the assessment. We'll sit down after do the assessment. We'll sit down and kind of talk about what it is that they want out of my program. And then we kind of sit down and we actually set out goals, whether it's long-term goals, short-term goals. And then they begin with I have job readiness courses that I offer. These are online, and it's just basically courses about communication, integrity. You just go in and it's kind of soft skills to prepare you for whenever you go out to the public. Some people that come to me, they may have worked 15 years ago. And these courses, it kind of gives them a brush up of what's going on to society today. A lot of times, for an example, with resumes are handed out differently these days. You can't go in a lot. I mean, you could go in a lot of times and give your resume, but a lot of times we upload resumes. So I showed them how to put that down and how they can upload it in the system and then get a hit on your resume.
Yeah. I was sharing with them during the break. I've been an HR manager and I couldn't even talk to people. If you walk in and hand me your resume, I have to say, please go online to whatever.com.
Exactly.
And that's a different world.
It is very different world for individuals that might, like I said, work 15 years ago.
Yeah.
And they're trying to get back into the workforce. And, a lot of times they don't know how to go about doing it. And that's what I'm here for.
Yeah, what are some of the hurdles? Like, what brought the person to homelessness? And you're not just born into it. Something's happened.
Right.
What goes on in their lives to get to this point?
A lot of times, like Miss Linda mentioned before, it could be a veteran situation. It also could be someone that was married and their spouse passed. Or it could be somewhere a spouse gets sick and the other person has to come in and get back into the workforce. And, they need that to become financially stable. They need that training nowadays. They need to get back out there to become stable in the household.
Right. And I guess the reason I was curious, you talk about establishing goals, so to develop a map to where they're going to get, you have to know where they are right now.
Exactly.
What's the starting point?
And that's part of what the assessment does. It kind of gives me a snapshot of where they are financially.
Yeah. And I was looking at your website earlier. You said you deal a lot, like with families with incarceration has impacted. I don't know if that's part of the program here or not, but that's huge. How many kids or wives lose a home because dad's now in jail or mom's in jail, whatever. Right. So yeah.
Right.
But
a lot of individuals, women that has dealt with domestic violence as well.
Yeah.
Those are a lot of the clientele that I see too as well. They're just trying to, they've gotten away and they're trying to start their own.
So we're talking about the financial part. How would you take care of like the trauma? You mentioned vets. PTSD is a huge issue with the vets. Ladies who've been hurt, children who've been hurt.
Just referring out the resources in the community, like my other colleagues have mentioned, it's resources in the community that we can refer these individuals out to.
Yeah.
We want to make sure that we have these partnerships in Montgomery County so we can send these individuals to get that counseling.
Right.
I do like light counseling, but for us getting, down deep in what the root issues are that they're dealing with, we have that partnership in the community and we can send individuals out.
Good.
To be referred.
Yeah, because I know that you're taking your baggage with you wherever you go.
Yes.
So if you can take care of that baggage to begin with.
Right. Exactly.
Make that goal a little bit more enjoyable when you get there.
Exactly.
Okay. What kind of success? And I know you can't say, yeah, we have 100% success rate or we have a 2%, but how do you know when a person has arrived that they are successful?
Well, success looks like, that person is fully employed.
Mm-hmm.
They're comfortable in their job. We make sure, they're being successful by calling and checking on the person, the individual. Sometimes they may let her up. They may, and that's showing us that we're being successful in helping them, once they're fully employed and they become stable in that.
Okay. So
our job is prior to being employed, we give them all the tools that they need to get there. And once they're stable, that's our success. That makes us smile.
I bet. I would hazard to guess that once a person begins to get more successful, they kind of begin to wean off of your program. And it's that losing the contact that will drive me nuts. Because if they disappear, you hope they're successful and not just back under a bridge.
Yeah, that's exactly. And that's where it goes when you, stay in communication. And I don't think the clients that come through Volunteers of America, I don't think they ever just lose sight of us.
Yeah.
But that goes to represent the people that we are at Volunteers of America. We're warm, we're caring. We try to take the time to get to know the individual person. It's working with Volunteers of America. It's not a, here and be on your way situation. It's we kind of cuddle you, wrap our arms around you and love on you, and people appreciate that. And I think that's what makes Volunteers of America a great organization.
Yeah, it sounds like you got a couple good people with you, Morris, to do that wrap around.
Oh, yeah.
Of course.
Yeah, it just has an agency that is so important. And if you've been homeless or fear of losing your home, that big bear hug means a lot. Whether it's a physical hug or not, but just knowing that somebody's back to is concerned.
Sometimes it's just being there for someone because they may not have the communication with their family or they are too embarrassed to tell anyone what they're going through. So they come and they share a lot with us. I've had a lot of men, women, come into my office and they cried quite a bit and you cried along with them, but you help them as much as you possibly can. And we do follow-up services in my program for a whole year. And then if they need help, even after they start working, because I call them once a month and I say, hey, how are you doing? Is there anything we can do for you? How's work? Just to make sure that they have that moral support to stay where they're at now instead of returning back to the same situation they were in before.
Right. Yeah, and the return back, I think, would be so hard. Make that person feel like it's hopeless or not, but no, it's really not. If you fall down, you pick yourself back up and go again. But so, what are your biggest needs, like for your program?
Just letting people know that I'm here in Montgomery County. It just seems like people don't know I'm here.
Yeah.
So just the Financial Opportunity Center is here. There's no restriction of income. Everyone's welcome. If you feel like you have some need to reach your financial stability, then we're here.
Okay. And one thing we didn't do, how would you said, come by the office, so we need their address or a phone number, or do you have a website they can go to?
Yeah, we can be reached at 731 West Davis Street, right here in Conroe. Phone number we can be reached at, I'm going to give you, the office number is 936-249-2215.
That's good. Hopefully if you don't have a home, I don't know if you really be listening to the program, but I bet people listening to us right this moment know somebody who'd benefit from it, or their churches be able to help out.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So anyway, it is time for our last break. You are listening to Lone Star Community Radio here in Conroe. One or worldwide, irlonestar.com. Thank you, and we'll be back in a couple.
Texas A&M AgriLife Extension Service is all about extending knowledge and providing solutions. We do that by using science-based information to create high-quality and relevant education for the people of Texas. More importantly, this outstanding education is delivered locally, right here in our county. We encourage lasting and effective change that helps our communities and our county thrive. We are Texas A&M AgriLife Extension, helping Texans make their lives better.
A Lone Star Community Radio is looking for those who are interested in hosting their own talk show with monthly and weekly slots available on Conroe's FM 104.5, 106.1, and on irlonestar.com. Start your own podcast, create your first YouTube channel, and be on TV. Contact Lone Star Community Radio online at irlonestar.com or call the station message line at 936-647-3776 to take your first step into the radio world.
Lone Star Boxer Rescue is a nonprofit organization serving Montgomery County and surrounding areas, dedicated to the health and well-being of the boxer breed. Lone Star Boxer Rescue is run and managed 100% by volunteers since 1999. Our main objective is to rescue, rehabilitate, and rehome boxers that come to us from many sources, including local animal shelters, owner surrenders, and strays. For more information about Lone Star Boxer Rescue, visit our website at lsbr.org.
For those of you who like your partners, your gumbo, and your music salty, well, we're here to help with the music. Julian Shea here, host of Lone Star Country Nights Thursday, your weekly dose of roots and Americana and all the music that makes this part of the country special. We stir in Western swing, honky-tonk, zydeco, Texas blues, outlaw country, and put a pinch of red dirt, and then we smoke it over a slow fire. Then listen to the results Thursday nights on Conroe's 104.5 and 106.1 and worldwide at irlonestar.com.
Hello and welcome back to the Extension Hour. I'm your host, Mike McBride. I'm a program assistant with Texas A&M AgriLife Extension Service here in Conroe, 9020 Airport Road, right across from the Lone Star Center. And I'm having a fun conversation with the Volunteers of America, Morris Cole, Linda Sullivan, and Aracia Reese. I am horrible about slaughtering names, so forgive me.
That's all right.
So anyway, Morris, in our last few minutes here, we've talked about a lot of services you provide. You can't do that by yourself. So what do you do?
We reach out to the community. I mean, Crisis Assistance Center, Montgomery Food Bank, a lot of these organizations such as Court Furniture, American Heart Association, we all come together. Texas Crisis Counseling for the counseling of our individuals that come through the FOC program, either our veterans program, particularly our housing program, where they come in and they do crisis management with our homeless community. So those things wrap around and they benefit the individuals right here in Conroe. Montgomery County Hospital, MET, Assistance League. I can go on and on, all these organizations that help the people of Conroe, the homelessness community of Conroe, come together and transition to a better state in which they are in. You know, put them on a journey whereby they can begin to have some stability in terms of their lives and in the children's lives as well. Because some of the families that we house families, not just individuals, but we house families as well.
And I keep thinking the parallel, the phrase, it takes a village to raise a child.
Absolutely.
It sounds like it takes a community to make this run well.
Absolutely. And it couldn't work without everybody pulling together to make this thing work and to get individuals off the streets, out of the woods, and put them into some type of stable living, right, to put them on their way. So it's definitely awesome. We even get help with the court system as well. They have a mental health program. We had an individual come through their mental health program, and they helped us transition them into stable housing.
Yeah, for the community, if you guys haven't heard about it, the court has a substance abuse court and a mental health court, and these take people who are really not violent criminals and kind of put them into a different track. So instead of just putting you in jail, and they're really trying to help people be successful. Mental health court is huge.
Absolutely. The judge, I can't remember her name, but she is absolutely wonderful.
Good.
And I had a chance to meet her, and absolutely wonderful. Everybody in that touches the lives of individuals that have to deal with chronic substance abuse and mental health issues. They're doing great work out there.
Yeah, and there's really such an overlap between mental health and substance abuse. It's a crazy number of people that have the comorbidities, a technical term, so that have the dual diagnoses like that.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay. So as an agency, and I'll let all three of you chime in wherever you want, we ask individually, what are your needs? But what is it you would hope to do with this VOA here in Conroe over the next couple of years? And what does Conroe do to help you get there?
We want to definitely grow with Conroe. Conroe is one of the fastest growing cities in the U.S. We want to expand this program and make it more far-reaching to individuals that may be out in Willis, maybe out in New Caney, Granger, all those areas. We want to be able to reach, far reach out there to help everybody that we can, because that's what Volunteers is about. I mean, it's a faith-based organization. We're designed to help those that are in need.
Yeah. And I'll just put a plug in here, encourage you to do that. I live in East County, just not too far from New Caney.
Okay.
Almost the services all seem to be here based on the western side. It's hard with no transportation back and forth. But whatever you do in eastern Montgomery County, I know there's huge need out there. You'd be more than welcome.
Yeah, we want to come out there too.
How do you do it though? That's the hard part.
And it goes back to what we were talking about, utilizing all the resources out here in Conroe, from people in the private sector as well as the nonprofit sector, coming together and seeing how can we do this? How can we make this work?
I put a plug in for an organization out there. It's the East Montgomery County Improvement District.
Yes.
And they meet together. It's like a chamber of commerce. So be in contact. I don't get paid by them or anything, but they're trying to bring a lot of help out there.
Any information you can provide for us. I do a lot of outreaching. So I'm out in Magnolia. I go to Montgomery, and I will sometimes stop. If even at the Justice of the Peace or wherever, I will stop and say, hey, we have this program, trying to get the word out to the community. And I have gotten some calls, but the thing that I would like to see is Mr. Cole said and Ms. Reese said, is get the word out, let people know that we do have programs. Some are tailored to certain, people with some needs, but we are here to serve the community. My program is specifically for veterans, and Ms. Reese's is for the general public that has or needs financial coaching or training. And of course, Mr. Cole's program is for the people that need housing and have a disability and have been homeless, for a certain amount of time. But we are all here to service the community. And even if we just get phone calls, like I answer calls all the time from veterans. And even if they don't want my particular help that my program offers, I let them know what's out there. And I don't mind taking any calls and letting the veterans know, hey, I don't have the service you need, but guess who does?
Right.
And I'd like to see that reciprocated and let people, let them know that we are here as well.
Okay. So to the listeners, if you have somebody who needs these services, if you're within an organization, whether it's your business, your church, your community center, whatever, who might be able to reach out, or even more importantly, if you have ways of helping VOA, Morris, please give us that number again that they can call to reach out to you.
936-249-2215. Once again, 936-249-2215.
Okay. And I want to take this opportunity to say thank you so much for
thank you
joining me today.
Thank you for having
Thank you, Lone Star Community Radio.
Yeah, but thank you also for what you're doing in the community. Such an important niche that needs to be filled. I hope to see you guys again soon. I know when I start teaching classes in a few weeks, get to know you guys a little bit better. But thank you. And community, everybody listening, thank you for joining us on the radio today. Come back next week for the Extension Hour. We're here every Friday, 1 to 2. You're listening to Lone Star Community Radio, Conroe's Community Radio at 106.1 or 104.5 on your FM dial, worldwide at irlonestar.com. Thanks so much. Have a great day.
Thank you, Carl.